Go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the round of 32 in the Rakgoska Open. I am your host Rakgoska here, bringing you this match between Jared, who is the third seed. Yeah, he's
Versus
third.
moi,
Versus
the
Keno.
11th seed.
And you are the green Protoss in the southern position on Tal'Darim Altar. Now, Keno, why did you pick this map versus Jared?
Nest is messaging me again. Because this is one map where I know that I can pull off my Forge Expo. I mean, I won my first round of 64 game on this map doing the Forge Expo. And one of the few ways that it's worked for me has been on this map on ladder. At the moment, on C ladder at least, this map comes up about 70% of the time. Not sure why. I think it's just because everyone has vetoed like everything else. So if
Yeah,
you've
that
got
makes
six
sense.
vetoes which are different, then this is one of the 5 or 6 maps it's more likely to get chosen.
Oh,
Also,
yeah,
it's big.
definitely. It is a big map, yeah. It does lead to a lot of advantages for different players. I mean, it reduces a lot of the early aggression just because of how long that the map goes.
And I mean, if you scout in the wrong position, like I did, you're not going to get scouting information till the 2nd or 3rd minute.
Which actually, I mean, can be beneficial getting that late scout information because then you see more of the build flourish versus if you pop in there right away at like the minute and a half mark,
Mm.
then you don't
Well, I
see
mean,
anything.
that's what I call the cheese scout.
Yeah,
See now,
the early scout.
so now I'm placing down my forge right now, and the reason I've started placing my forge first rather than my expansion first is because Zerg, the one race that consistently beat me with 15 pull early pressure, they will get my forge or my cannons before they're up. So I've started putting my forge up beforehand. Um, the one disadvantage to this is, as you can see, his scouting worker just came in, and he's just seen that. So this might force him into spawning pool pressure, which would then kill me.
He
Which
had
is
already started his pull before he had even seen it, so I mean that's not really that much, but it might have triggered in his mind, oh, my Protoss is fast expanding, I need to put pressure on.
Mm.
One thing that
Or
did
what?
kind of do you a little disadvantage was you
This
basically had your
cheese.
probe hovering by the
Ah.
minerals, and he knew you were going to expand, but he does, I mean, he's throwing up these pylons here, which is kind of cool. I mean, you do have the cannon up, so you can, in theory, you know, throw down cannons if you needed to, just to harass the expo.
Well, I mean, I do, and as you can see, he is pulling off
Oh, you did throw a
6.
cannon down. I've never actually noticed that in the actual game.
Yeah, I put down 2 actually. He's
Ah.
brought off 7 workers off the mineral line to try and deal with these cannons, so that's a fairly big deal. And I'm pretty sure I get the cancel on the photon cannon if I'm
Yep.
on my game, but no, I'm not on my game. So I do force him to lose 7 workers mining time for a fair
Yeah.
amount of time.
Quite a bit of my time, and really all you lost was the pylon and a little bit of the cost for the cancels, but not too much. But I mean, it didn't affect him as much because his drones basically were heading down for a transfer anyway. So
True, but here's where the interesting things start to happen. Is at this point in the game, it's either who can kill the other person first or who takes the third expo first.
Yep.
And given this is the first time I've seen it from his perspective, I'm
Yeah.
interested to see the
so now here's
timing of
the
his
the
third
first
expansion.
bump that I wanted to tell you about. You've got lots of probes queued up right now. You've got basically 100 minerals worth of dead probes.
Mm,
And so you could have had that pylon started a lot sooner if you just would have had the regular amount of just, you know, the one probe in each,
yep.
which would have caused your gateway to go up a lot sooner. Because I mean, basically,
Fast gateway is. I mean, I can see where you're coming from with this. That's a bump thing, but fast gateway isn't necessarily essential. Like it's tech, and but I can see where you're coming from
but I
and
mean,
why
like
it would.
your ultimate strategy for this map or this matchup was basically to go fast expand into Archons as your main damage dealer. So
Didn't
for
really work.
Archons, you need, you know, Gateway, Cybercore, Twilight Council, and either then a Dark Shrine or a High Templar Archives. So, in theory, the faster you get the Gateway up, the faster you can get to those meatier, tankier units.
True, very true. I should I should get you to spectate me more often, and you can just rip my strategy to shreds. On that note, which one do you think is better for just warping straight into Archons, like DTs or high Ts?
If you have the gas, if you're gas heavy, High Templars. If you're mineral, like even, Dark Templars.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just because, I mean, High Templars, you can research Storm, and yes, Storm can do quite a bit of damage, so I mean, you might want to do, like, both, actually, like a mixture of the two, because you can use Storm, like if you have like 1 or 2 Storms, you can actually use it to reposition an army a little bit better by storming the outskirts, forcing it to clump up.
Can you combine a High Templar and a DT to make an Archon?
I believe so, yes.
Alright, interesting.
Don't quote me on that, but I believe so.
Did you notice that he just created 20 Zerglings? Do you feel this is slightly excessive for what was currently happening in the game?
No. To be honest, when I saw the Forge expand, I was like, I had my money pegged on Baneling Bust, just rolling through and just plowing down this wall.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what I was like waiting for. When I saw the 20 Zerglings pop, I was like, okay, he's going to start a Baneling nest, and he's just going to roll down this wall, and it'll be GG. You know, Zerglings in the base, no units. But he didn't. You know, he decided to play it pretty standard. He did get those Zerglings out, taking out his destructible rocks, which is a good thing. You know, it's going to help him get a lot of, you know, get his economy going, basically.
Hmm. He also scouts my third expo, which was, I didn't quite get cannons up in time. Like, my idea was to get cannons up, but
he actually didn't quite scout it. He basically just sent units to check for expansions.
Moving around the map.
Yeah, and he managed to catch it, which was definitely you know, it sucks because if you had 1 cannon there, you probably would have saved it.
Yeah, and if he'd missed it, which is probably not going to happen given this player was in diamond level and is in theory reasonably intelligent. If he'd missed it for 30 more seconds, then that's like, given he's putting down expansion now, that's almost 70 seconds extra mining time that I've got over him if he hadn't taken it out.
Yeah, but to be honest though, I mean, you literally like either that or if you just would have had like 1 building against the Nexus to reduce the surface area, you probably would have ended up saving it because, or if you would have had the watchtower.
Yeah.
Like if you would have had the southern watchtower, you would have been able to see the Zerglings coming towards that expansion, and you could have moved your army a lot sooner.
I'm actually surprised that when I got my, we should probably stop talking about the game in what's going to happen
in the future. Yeah, that's kind of spoilery. So here we've got the Zerglings now moving across the map. 20 Zerglings doing some moving around the map, and they spot a secret base. Ooh, secret base.
Well, one of the interesting things that I thought was when I pulled my army down here to attack him, I'm surprised he didn't just turn around and kill me. Like, he could have, because I've only got 2 zealots, and after that it's just stalkers, which get eaten up by Zerglings.
He wanted to take the expo out and keep those units alive. That's something he wanted to do.
Which didn't really work. I managed to kill most of them.
He still has 10 left, but they kept the watchtower held for the longest time, and he actually, I believe, saw your army push out.
Yeah, fair enough.
So those Zerglings definitely became, and now you're using your army here to take out these destructible rocks, which allow you to get this Nexus up instead. So unfortunately, you're taking a 3rd base ahead of him. Did not quite pan out as well as you wanted it to.
Yeah, and now he's got a 3rd base up and is now beating me on that. Yep. If you look at each player's vision, this is a small bump from his perspective. If you look at his vision, he has not gained sight on 3 bases, actually 6 bases total. I've gained sight on every single expansion on the map at this point. Yep. So he cannot secret expand, but I could have secret expanded. So that's a small bump from his perspective.
Now we do have an Overseer flying into your base, so he's going to get some scouting information on the production capabilities of your base anyway.
He did end up seeing the DTs, didn't he?
Yep, he did spot the DT shrine. You might want to try to put that a little lower.
Well, I generally try to keep it next to those 2 cannons because they're the anti-muta cannons.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, that's why those 2 cannons are there. They're just anti-mutas because all you need to do is stall to then get the stalkers over there.
Yep. Quick question: how's your Chrono Boost energy?
Crap. I That's something that I've noticed in me forever. Like, once I get to a couple of bases, my chrono boosts are never spent. So whenever I start an upgrade, I always try to remember 5 CCC, but it never ends up working.
Yeah. You can also Chrono Boost your warp gates to cycle faster.
I do know that in theory, but I never end up doing it.
Yeah. Usually the only time I ever remember is when I'm panicking, like, oh my god, I'm getting attacked. Quick, Chrono Boost the warp gates, get more units out.
Okay. This is an interesting question. If you look at his Hydralisk, why is one of them damaged?
Your DT, or you had a Zealot that scouted, and he charged it
Ah, right.
earlier.
Fair enough.
You missed that little tidbit of information, but you know, him scouting the DT shrine definitely did not help you, just because of the fact that he basically scouted it.
Well, I mean, he'd already had all the spore crawlers up, so when I did my
Yeah.
first spawning of DTs and sent them across, they didn't really do that much.
The typical